Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Good Morning, Bo Jackson Battle Arena. Should we call it Bo Jackson
No,
Battle
good
Arena? Good
morning,
morning, Bo
Bo.
Jackson Battle Arena.
You already
Bo
screwed it up
Jack,
on the
just good morning, Bo Jack. Bo, good morning,
you, s-
Bo.
you screwed it up on the very first time. It's just
I,
good
s-
morning, Bo.
oh, welcome to Good Morning, Bo.
I
We're,
yeah,
we're
just
going through a slight name change.
GMB. GMA was already
GM,
taken. We're
yeah,
GMB.
GMB. Perfect. Perfect. Good morning, Slappy. How are you?
Uh, as I was telling you before we went live, I'm excited because Eric and his crew, Mike and Jaden, are here insulating my 1800s farmhouse that had no insulation. For anybody living in a cold weather climate, you know what insulation means. And it's absolutely insane. Is that like I just heard before we went live, I heard them, drill a hole and they were filling the walls, and I could just hear the insulation like filling up the wall. And I'm like, holy cow. I'm
You
like,
could you could feel the heat rising
oh my God.
in your home.
I could feel the money going back in my pockets,
Yeah,
like for the
yeah.
lower
You
energy
you
bills.
can turn you can turn the oven off and close the door. You no longer have to heat the
A-
house with
Actually,
the
what's
oven.
funny? It's like the kids always look at me like when we're done, like making something. They're like, "Should I leave the oven door, Dad, open?" Because I'm
Yeah,
always like, so my dad was born, in the Depression, and so like when the kids are done making or anyone's done making, so like leave that door open. I just paid to heat that oven up to 450, and you're
yeah,
gonna leave that thing open and at least give us that temporary relief.
yeah. Heat
Yeah,
rises, baby.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Are you prepared for the storm?
Yeah, we're broadcasting. This is Good Morning, Bo. We're live on Friday, January 23rd, 9 a.m. Eastern. And of course, the storm hitting much of America, including the Bo Jackson Battle Arena mothership, that's the biggest concern. So just a
Yeah,
warning to people, patience. Like when South Carolina gets hit with this storm, is that it's going to be apocalyptic. And don't expect like, why haven't they answered me? That's the reason why they haven't answered, right, Texas? What about you? You're up in
yeah.
Syracuse. You guys,
Because yeah, we're looking at we're when it's all said and done, we'll probably have around 2 feet of snow or so,
which is
and
normal for you.
that's nothing. We don't even bother getting out of bed for less than a foot. I'm here, so yeah, it's nothing. It'll be fun though. It'll be great. I love nothing like being able to sit home on a nice snowy Sunday and watch football. So
Well,
yeah, it'll be great. I'm bring it on. Give us all you got. We'll take 8 feet. We don't care.
Well, I was gonna say, Quick, where are you? Good morning to you, Quick, and he's gonna get 2 feet, Pennsylvania. God bless you. Like I miss being from Vermont. That's what I want. 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
So,
All
morning to
right,
Big
let's get to our
Nico too.
guests. Who do
All
we
right,
got
yeah,
here?
let's get him on. All right, well, so we do have Anthony, Cursive Breaks.
Okay, good
Hey,
morning.
Anthony, how are you?
Good.
Eric, there he
What's
is.
up, crew?
Eric, the Card
Mr.
Society.
Yep.
Mr.
And
Hop.
last but not least,
Morning, everyone.
Beth. Mainly Breaks. How are you?
Doing
What's everybody
great.
doing this morning?
hey, Seth, did you hear what he called you? He called you Mainly Breaks.
You know,
I know.
Tex can learn. I believe he's going to get the show correct too.
Yeah, we'll see. Don't get your hopes too high. If Snipey keeps changing the name, I'll never get it.
It was for your
Changing
benefit.
or changed it once. Actually, you want to know what's funny? It seems like we just started the show, but do you guys know how long we've been? Do you know how long we've been going on? Text quick. How long has the show been on there?
4 minutes and 7
No.
seconds.
Come on. You know what I mean. I can't even tell if he's joking or not.
Oh, how long is this show been on the air? We gotta be 6-7 months, probably 8 months.
3 months. All right, 3 months, but good guess.
3 months.
Yeah, that's all right. Gen Con.
Well, maybe that tells you a little something about this show.
Yeah.
I think it's been double the time we've been doing it.
Yeah, well, speaking of double the time, what did you want to start with? 256 seconds, and that's great, quick. So, what do you want to start with today? We've got the Curacao, and by the way, the interested Curacao kids, unless he's cloned himself, there's still only one Curacao kid. Although I guess you could call Eric now a Curacao kid because he's a twin. And then we've got the Mall Rats with Cursive, and then we've got Mainly Breaks, who's going to talk about a viral video and kind of what that means for Bo Jackson Battle Arena and the popularity. But what do you want to start with today, Tex?
I want to start with Eric and hear about meeting the Carousel Kid. And do we have that picture queued up? Eric, tell us the story. Where did this happen? When did it happen? How did it happen?
So last week,
guy?
I was fortunate enough to go to a Braves camp. They put this on for longtime season ticket holders. My family has had Brave season tickets since '92, so long time. So yeah, a group of guys. You basically get to go out and be an Atlanta Brave for a couple days. You get uniform, you get to hit BP. They split you up into different teams, and you get to play an actual game, and you get a couple coaches. If you guys know who Brian Jordan is, left fielder for the Braves for a few years, played for the Dodgers too. That's him right behind Andrew.
And didn't he spell his name a weird way, like with a Y or something? Not weird, but just
no. It was I.
I feel like there was something about Brian Jordan though that sticks out in my head, and I can't remember what it was. But he was, yeah. I mean,
he played for the Falcons. I mean, only a few guys to play two sports professionally.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, still pretty big. He's like in his mid-50s, I think, 57 or so. And I mean, you can see his calves. Dude's still ripped. Looks like he can still play in the NFL.
Yeah, looks like he's smuggling a couple hams there.
That's right.
Jesus.
So yeah, we Andrew came, hung out with everybody, took pictures. By far one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Just always smiling, always happy. You got to be happy for him getting into the Hall of Fame. But just chatted up for a few minutes. There was a decent amount of people there, so it wasn't just him and I hanging out throughout the day. But super cool. Made me even more a fan of his than I was before. So the Curacao Kid collection is going to keep growing.
Wonderful. That's awesome. Very cool. And now, do you get to keep the uniform?
You do. Yeah, uniform.
Really?
They give you a hoodie, pants, hats. I mean, pretty much everything, even socks. It was the real deal.
Is this like a one-time deal for each season ticket holder, or can you do this every year if you want?
You can do it every year. Yeah, it's not free. You do have to pay for the experience, but you can definitely do it every year if you want to. And it's over a couple days too, so you're busy. It's a jam-packed schedule.
Do they put you up in a hotel and the whole bit, or are you on your own for that?
You do, yeah. There's a hotel close by that everybody stays at. You can double up with a roomie as well if you want to get the full-on training camp experience, spring training.
Now, at the end of the fort, do you get to play like an actual game at any point, or is it just all like BP?
No, we play. You play 4 6-inning games. So there's 4 different teams. There's 12 guys on a team. So you had a few on the bench, but everybody hits. We pitched as well. So, you watch some old men out there trying to relive the glory days. Some of it was pretty comical, but there was some real good talent out there too. It's surprising how well some of these guys have kept their game up.
How many hamstrings, quads, elbows, shoulders, knees were blown out?
All of it.
During this.
My whole body was sore for about 4 days. I could hardly move my legs. I didn't realize exactly, I did some sprints. I go to the gym. You try and stay in shape, but like 90 feet is a long way when you're running. And if you have to go from first to third, I mean, it feels like a marathon out there. So hats off to the MLB players that do that on a daily basis, because I am not in that kind of shape.
Well, Eric, quick,
those bases look a lot closer on TV.
Me too.
You got to say, this man look at him. He looks like a 5-tool player back in the day, as we would say, right? I bet you batted over 330. You probably had 20 dingers a year and like upper 90s in RBIs, and then became a hitting coach. That's Eric. Look at him.
Yeah, it looks like Chipper Jones right there, right?
I agree.
Yeah,
I just want to see that jersey framed in behind you, Eric.
I'm working on that.
I think you should wear it to the National.
The National? Wear it
to the National. The whole shooting match. Yeah, cleats, everything.
We could arrange
You'd
that.
be sliding around on the concrete there at the National on your cleats, and
we need a whole team. Then I need to get a squad of Braves players.
Yeah.
Represent.
Well, you can probably recruit Jeff. We know he's a big Braves fan.
Well, when you say Jeff, so Tex, a little context for our viewers,
Yes,
right? We want to
Jeff
talk about
French.
So the creator of the Bo Jackson Battle Arena game and Bo Jackson's partner, Jeff French, otherwise known as Frenchie.
Yes.
If he's a Braves fan, he would have been in heaven with this. I mean, it is, you go out to lunch and you're sitting next to Eddie Perez and Tim Hudson. And, Brian Jordan told me the whole story about how he was traded for Gary Sheffield. He was in the batting cages and John Sherholtz calls him. And, he had to hang up the phone before he cussed John Sherholtz out. But just hearing, little stories like that from some of these guys, there was quite a few like relievers like Peter Moylan, Greg McMichael. I don't know how deep the baseball knowledge goes here, but there was definitely some players that were kind of like bench type players. And then you had Hall of Famer like Andrew Jones show up. Just the aura of him really outweighed everybody. He was like a magnet when he walked in the room. Everybody just wanted to talk to him.
Hey, and what do you think, Eric, about baseball? It's funny when you're talking about the stories, is that baseball is my favorite sport. So I'll acknowledge I'm biased, but why does baseball lend itself to stories more than any other sport? When you get to, you just don't hear about it. Like you hear some, obviously, with the NFL and NBA, NHL, but I feel like baseball is just a story. Like it's an excuse to hear stories and tell stories.
Baseball's romantic, it's, I think the nostalgia of the game, how long it's been played. I feel like there's just a lore about baseball in America that you don't quite get with other sports.
The emerald chessboard that is baseball. Yeah, I think it goes to the length of time the game's been played. It's got a lot of history behind it, and it's got a lot of downtime in it where guys are just sitting around talking, which lends itself to great stories. And they've had their fair share of characters through the years. But that's awesome.
The other thing is, I almost look at baseball kind of like The Simpsons, right? Is that the example I use, and you can use a lot of them, and of course this goes to the old days, but when The Simpsons was a little bit more fresher. But I always think about like the Model UN episode where the kids were bickering, and Principal Skinner says, "Hey, do you want to bicker like the children,
French?
or do you want to?" Sorry, I was like, looks like Cursive's having a little bit of trouble. We just removed him until he can work out his camera issues. Is that in the episode, the kids are doing Model UN and they're bickering, and Principal Skinner comes in and goes, "Do you want to bicker like little children, or do you want to act like the real UN?" And then he takes his shoe off also to bang it on the podium to get their attention, right? So there's a couple. So, if you're a young person watching The Simpsons, it's just funny because, Skinner's trying to get him under control. But if you're on the more intellectual level, right, he's echoes of Khrushchev, talking about, is the UN like their dysfunction, and like, are they bickering like kids or actually behaving? And I think with sorry, it's like worst example ever is like between folks coming in out of my room here, and then Cursive's issues with the camera is like, Tex, what did you say right before? I can't believe I forgot that. I don't have my notes. I'm in a different office right now.
I don't know. I'm still stuck on the UN. What's happening at the UN?
Stop. But I will.
Anyway,
I was just gonna say with baseball,
okay.
thank you. That's it. Is the layers of depth, right? Is like you can go to a game and you just watch it, like you want to see them hit dingers, and it can be as simple as that. Or baseball is for people who watch the game. You understand how every pitch sets up the next pitch. Every at bat sets up the next at bat. I mean, one of the greatest stories I had is one of the few major leaguers to come out of Vermont, even though Carlton Fisk was born in Vermont. They didn't have a hospital on the New Hampshire side. I don't have my Carlton Fisk personal correspondence here. It's in my other office. But Lenny Whitehouse was a lefty out of Vermont, and he pitched for Minnesota. And there's a legendary story about, he struck out Reggie Jackson, I believe, for his 3,000th strikeout. for Reggie's 3,000 strikeout. And the story gets told so many times in Vermont. And it's one of those things where I can't remember it exactly right because I've heard it so many times. And I actually asked Lenny, who was my landlord, I was like, listen, you got to tell me the story because I've heard so many variations of it. And he talked about the fact that Lenny told me the first time he faced Reggie in a series is that, you know, he threw a couple fastballs by Reggie. And then the book, what his pitching coach told him is what he had to do is, I can't remember the pitch sequence, but told him to do something. And he was a fireballer. But whatever it is, he told him to do it. Well, Reggie reached out with his bat and just slapped it through the infield and he got on base. And he was mad because he's like, I knew I could have struck him out. So the next day they're warming up in the outfield and Reggie calls him over and he goes, yes, Mr. Jackson. And I just love the fact that he's telling the story. He's like, yes, Mr. Jackson. And he goes, kid, you got a great fastball, but I can time it like a fucking jet. Excuse the language. And I looked at Lenny and I go, why do you think he was, I was like, why do you think he was doing that? And he goes, oh, he was trying to get in my head. And he goes, so when he faced him he got called in that night to face Reggie. And like the first pitch he threw was a fastball and Reggie missed. The next pitch was slower. And then the third pitch was so slow that Reggie was like a corkscrew going into the ground. And when Reggie was walking back to the dugout, he looked out and he tipped his cap to him. And it was just, so anyway, it's when you talk about baseball is that it's kind of like the Simpsons, right? There's just so much depth, like depending on how deep you want to get into the stories of baseball.
I love the nod. Like Reggie's like, he got me this time. But there'll be a next time.
Yeah. Yep. That was great. Well, so Tex, we do have the Curacao Kid. I pulled up Curacao Kid, what it looks like on radishpriceguide.com right now, because right now you heard Eric saying that he's going to be picking up more Curacao Kid. So I figured this gives everybody a chance who wants to kind of
overbid him,
to bid him
up.
Buy it and make him
really hot right now.
Yeah, really make him pay.
Yeah, and actually that's a great point, Eric. Since he is a Hall of Famer, like I think we saw the Mick, who's mentioned, Hall of Famer, or maybe it was Julio who mentioned Hall of Famer right there. Is that what have you seen in terms of the pricing, Eric? Obviously, you're a Braves fan. You're right there. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, he's hot. I think anytime somebody gets that kind of attention for the Hall of Fame, people definitely rush to buy their cards. So you see a little bit of a spike. I think, he'll see probably another one during the Hall of Fame inductions when he's up there on the mic and getting even more attention. So I would imagine, Carlos Beltran got into, I would think his cards are up too. I have not looked at his market, but even everybody in the Discord posting their best Andrew Jones card or their best Curacao Kid card. There's a little FOMO, so everybody wants to have one in that moment. And the spotlight's on him right now.
Well, it's interesting, Tex, because if you look at the recent sales, is that because when did they announce it? Was it a week ago? That I'm trying to remember.
Tuesday.
It was this week.
It was Tuesday.
Oh my gosh! Wow, time's going by fast. That seems like a week ago. All right. Well, it looks like there've been no sales on, and it could be because people are increasing their prices, so nothing's gone yet. But the Curacao Kid, it looks like there was an alpha update auto, and again, his power is 150, so he helps complete your spec decks. He's not an Apex card, but he is in the spec deck. And it was $91 for a Hall of Famer auto in the Bo Jackson battle set. But what's interesting is look at this 3 weeks ago, which I'm kind of surprised about this, $400 for a Curacao Kid metallic auto.
That seems very low for a metallic.
You think that's low? I was going to say, I think
for
that's
a metallic.
High.
That's on, man.
You think so? Really?
It's a smidge high.
It's really, you guys think that's high? Yeah, because metallics are 1 of 5, right? Usually, like definitely 1 of 10.
Well,
yeah, I think they're even lower than that. I think they're around 1 of 5.
We never got the answer from them, but based on Radish was doing a tracker during the alpha set, and we found some were around 5 and some were around 10. Now it's possible we weren't able to track them; they were all at 10. But I'm willing to bet the way the team does different variations, I think some heroes are to 5 and some are to 10, if I had to guess. But so, Anthony, what were you saying? You think the price for that Curacao metallic should have been what?
350 on average. The low end ones are about 3. You can definitely get over 4 on some of the bigger heroes, but this being a 150, that feels, a smidge up in price. So not a horrible sale, but maybe it is because he was about to make the Hall of Fame.
So he only has, and I actually looked before I went to meet him. I looked to see what's for sale on eBay, and there's only 10 cards on eBay total of Curacao Kid. So there's not a lot of inventory for sale. I would say that's why you're not seeing sales of it. But he literally has 10 autos, I think, of Battle Arena on there right now that you can buy. I think the lowest is like $130 for a steel auto.
Slappy, you just showed a hex sale that was in the twos.
Yeah.
Whoever purchased that, well done, because that was one of the steals. That's a steal of the century right there. I have that
look
card
at the
too.
Hex Manoleum at the very bottom. 900.
Yeah, for like 101. Yeah, it's I think that's kind of close for the like around 900 to 1,000 for the secret 101s, but you probably get a little bit more in today's market based on the Hall of Fame or Hall of Fame announcement, I should say. Great card.
Yeah.
Well, Eric's point about what's out there for the kid. Yeah, there's not. Now, let me ask you, Anthony, do any of these, based on him being a Hall of Famer, and obviously, right, the market goes up and down, but do any of these look like a discount right now? So we've got, it must be a Jammer who's listed this card because he's the only one who has a library of PSA 10 Bow cards.
I think that's me.
Is that really you?
Yeah, it's my card.
It's his Mainly Breaks right there.
Oh yeah, Mainly Breaks. That is you, Seth. So Seth, talk to us about that. How long has this been up?
Oh, I've had that up there for forever, and I just actually lowered it. So I got that for a steal early on. Can
you tell us how much did you get it for?
I think I paid $60, between $60 and $70. And I think a rad of a feature should be minimum 125. That's just my floor. Yeah, and it graded well and came back at 10. So it's been sitting up there for a while.
And it's a 160, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So a fire. It's not the steel parallel. It's a fire, so that's added. It's Anthony, great point about the 160. It's graded to a PSA 10. I mean, if you're gonna have a Curacao rad other than the secret 101, this is about as good as it can get, don't you think, Tex?
Yeah, no, I do. I think that's a pretty spectacular card,
that's got to be a pop one, right, Seth?
It was at the time. And plus, Eric, outside of me and you and a handful of others, there aren't too many people grading either.
Yeah. If you and I have a large percentage of it.
And so just Seth, is there anything else you see in terms of, besides Seth and Mainly Breaks, great deal right now that you can go grab? Are there any that stick out to you? It looks like some of it might be priced for the Hall of Fame and not ready to come down. I mean, I think $750 for a limited ice auto. Is that, what would you put the value on that at?
I think so. I would say steal like a fair price back to you. Like if you sold it on eBay or through the Discord, it's probably about 125. I mean, it was probably around $100 before, and you can probably get it there at 125. So in my head, I generally, with a 125, I would about double that. So you go between 225 and 250. I think for fire and ice would be a fair price back to you. 750, that's a little high in my opinion.
Definitely, I would agree with that. Right, general rule that I've always gone on is the cards almost double every time they go up in weapon type. So from your steel to your fire ice to your glow to your hexes, it's usually 2 times every step up. And so Seth said about 100, 125 is what the stills typically are before you look at hero, and then double that would definitely be above that 200 range.
Well, and if anybody knows who KETR 8212, if they listen to the show or if you know them in the community, is that this is mislabeled and it's going to hurt them because they have it listed. The second card on the screen, it says Bo Jackson Battle Arena update, Andrew Jones auto on card Curacao Kid steel to 50. And of course, that's not a steel, that's an ice. But I mean, there's to Eric's point, there aren't that many out here on eBay. And so they're probably going to see it. But if you have people searching for more rare autos, this isn't going to get picked up because they're listing it as a steel incorrectly.
Yeah,
all right.
It's going to get missed for sure.
Yeah. Let's see.
I
But
mean,
that's
I mean, the Fire Auto. I actually bought a Fire Auto of them 2 weeks ago for $90. I think that was on eBay too. You should be able to see that sale.
okay.
Yeah,
For
great
$90, a Fire Auto?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I see it now. It was on the 12th.
Wow. All right.
I'm scanning eBay now, and I just came across something interesting.
Yes.
I'm just curious if you guys think this is a decent price or not. Somebody has listed the Ken Griffey green battle foil, the case hit green glow battle foil. It's a 195 power of the Kid, and they're asking $1,980.
Yes.
Do we think that's high? Or
Can
does that seem
you share your
reasonable?
screen text?
Yes. Let me
While
pull
Seth
this up
responds
here.
and then the others respond.
I think that's I would buy, if I had $2,000 burning a hole in my pocket, I'd buy that right now. I'll say that. I think it's 195. It's obviously Ken Griffey, say no more. And again, I got the buy. I love green glows. I don't think they get quite the love. I don't think people realize how rare they really are, how rare this card really is. I mean, it's probably worth about $3,000, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the same thing. That seems like kind of a bargain at just under $2,000, and he's also accepting best offer. So
For folks who missed
I would
it,
agree on that.
when we were doing the inaugural show for What's It Worth, Bo Jackson Battle Arena, Seth is the unapologetic green a green defender. Is that he will die on that hill, and he regularly comes out. I won't give a multiple, but he's ahead of where everybody else sits. Sorry, Anthony, you were going to say about this.
No. I think that's a great price too. Again, we talk about the number being the first thing I look at for pricing, and then obviously it's the hero. Kid being, he's bringing that premium. He's bringing the most premium in that set. And I think this is a little low. I think this is a still, I'm about to call my wife over and ask if I can make this purchase before someone else does. But yeah, I think it's a great card. Great value there, and easily could probably make some money if you were just looking to flip it at this price.
Yeah, I agree. And it looks like if you were going to grade it, it looks like it's in really good shape.
Hey, there's 5 of us here.
It's kind of tough to tell, but
it's going to be gone by the end of the day now.
It might be gone by the end of the show.
That's also true.
Oh, great! Now Tex isn't going to pay attention to the rest of the show. But you want to know?
No. I'm locked in. I'm back.
Speaking of grading, Tex, because you talked about how that card's going to grade. This is a question we had from this McFly earlier, and I know. Let's start with Seth because he's one of the grading experts. I know. Tex, you do a lot of grading as well, and then Eric is like, you're grading cursive. You almost are anti-grading, so we'll get to you last. But Seth, you want to open up about McFly's question?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think I'm necessarily an expert. I appreciate you saying that. I have graded a lot of boba. I think 101s, you're only going to want to grade it if you think it's going to get an 8 or above. Outside of that, leave it ungraded because a 101, it needs nothing else to increase its value, really. So it may even hurt if you get anything below an 8.
Right. Now, what is, I pulled the CJ Stroud chicken print. Am I missing something here completely? What does he mean with the chicken?
It's just random emoji. I don't know.
Okay. Like, am I? Yeah, is it a? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a new parallel we're not aware of.
Yeah,
it's a chicken
I know
parallel.
of the elephant, tiger, zebras, but I don't know about the chicken stripes. I think they have stripes. There is a peacock, but it's not a 101, and that doesn't look like a peacock.
What's the peacock?
That's out of Mosaic.
Yeah.
It's very cool looking card.
Okay. I'm thinking you're talking Boba. I'm like, what the hell is the peacock?
I was thinking he was talking non-Boba with the Shroud.
I was thinking he was talking shrouded in just in a way that he was autocorrect or he was using different terminology, but I was doing, but it still applies. Like, but regardless, it's still a good conversation because we get that with over 800 one of ones just in the Griffey set, secret and known. It's an important question for people to know whether they should actually grade it or not. And Seth, you're a little bit humble. You and I were talking about this the other day. Since Bo Jackson Battle Arena started and you've been here as part of the collection since day one, you've graded, I think you were saying over 200 cards probably.
Yeah, it's pushing near 300. I went back and looked to get more accurate. So since, that's like literally the second week after Alpha came out, I sent my first grade, my grade order into tag. And then at the same time for PSA.
That's you're grading more than 98% of people. So again, that makes you a grading expert. I'm curious though, where Eric, where do you fall? Like we know there's a great community resource, SubHub Grading. He doesn't alter the card because of course that's not allowed, but he cleans the cards. He provides that service, which the community members who've gone to him, I know B-Jamps is one of his biggest supporters, loves what he does. The fingerprints. Actually, Seth, I'll start with you first. You've actually used SubHub?
Recently, I started when PSA made their changes, and I'd sent some orders in. I couldn't figure out what they were looking at, so it didn't make sense to me when the cards were coming back their grades, and I wanted some extra eyes. And I'm like, "That's SubHub. Just check these 10 cards out." And he was helpful in what cards I should send in, so I really appreciated his opinion.
Yeah, I've used SubHub several times, and he does an amazing job.
Including your set of
N20 cards and everything.
Including your set of N24 foil hero cards, which have Showtime, Freak Show. I can't remember the entire set, but you got PSA 10 after SubHub took a look and cleaned them, correct?
Yep. I have 2 sets of N24 battle foil PSA 10s.
Yeah, but oh wait, you submitted the second one that you got from Yo-Yo, and that one came back a PSA 10 as well?
Yeah, yep. I have 2 sets of PSA 10s.
Well done.
So if anybody's in the market,
Eric,
you have my you know where to find me.
Eric, what's your thoughts though in terms of the cleaning?
I haven't found it necessary for Boba cards. It's definitely necessary for a lot of Topps and Panini, especially the chrome finishes. And I feel like that's where you get a lot of these scratches or fingerprint marks. The Boba cards I've graded, I just go straight from the pack or, from the top loader. If I purchased it from somebody, goes into the sleeve and the one touch or the card saver and off to PSA. I haven't had any issues. The gem rate on these cards is phenomenally high, especially compared to the bigger manufacturers. But yeah, the cleaning comes in hand really with a lot of the chrome finish cards where they get scratched up. You can remove scratches, you can remove fingerprints, things like that. But I do agree with Seth on the 101, not always needing to grade a card that rare. I don't think you're going to necessarily increase the value of the card by grading it. However, I do think cards look better in slabs. So if that's something that you were going to keep for your PC and you just want to slab it, you could even slab it as authentic. You don't even have to get a grade on it, just to sort of preserve the card a little better.
All right, and before we leave this topic, Tex, we got to let Anthony respond because I'm sure Anthony right now is like, as soon as he heard Eric say that last bit,
the plastic prison.
Yeah, I mean,
the devil's advocate. Here he comes.
Yeah, so I'm in the school of C-Town, right? These cards are meant to be played. You can't play them when they're slabbed up. I know you can proxy, but that's just a hassle. I don't have any slab cards. At some point, maybe I jump in and do 1 or 2. Anything that's not in decks currently, I tell my wife, hey, put it in your office or your library, because if it's in mine and it's not a deck, it's going to end up on a single show. So currently nothing's slabbed right now. I don't have anything. I have cards that should be slabbed, but currently none at the moment. So, try to put them in a deck, try to get them out there and play the game.
All right, and then one issue, and Anthony, I know on What's It Worth, Bo Jackson Battle Arena, there was a little bit of difference in opinion on the show when it came to graded 10s, of which Jammer has a lot. But here's a question from Quick where he said, how much would it increase at a PSA 10? So if you have, let's do the Curacao kit. If you have the Super Auto Curacao kit, what's the difference between raw and grade 10, would you say? And Seth, we'll start with you. And then I'm curious to hear what Tex, you and Eric and Anthony say.
It's a great question. I'll say, based on my experience, some of the higher end stuff, it's kind of hard to gauge because you're talking about who's going to potentially buy that with where the community is at right now in size. It's not as big as the broader collecting community. So, for instance, typically you grade a card for that cost you $125. You think 2x easy. So it's like 250 to 300 probably if it tens. I would say, let's say the card's worth, let's just say 1,500 and you're graded. Normally I would say 3K minimum, but I think just as the higher end, it's hard to gauge. I would say between 2,500 and 3,500. And either sale, none of that would surprise me in that range.
So what's the increase on percentage there, Seth, you're thinking? Because I was thinking like 10, 20% on some of these cards, an increase in value, but.
Yeah, so it's a great question. Generally speaking, I now say based on all my sales, it's anytime I got a 10, it's typically at least 2 times raw for Boba. And that's why it's been really great when, you find a card that's $100, you can grade it and come back, and usually you're going to sell between 2 and 250. I mean, that's back to you. So that's a good profit margin. Now, the point is, as you increase in terms of rarity and card value, it's that formula is not quite as firm. So that's why I gave a range of 2,500 to 3,500, just because it's been very different with the higher end stuff.
Yeah, I think it's tough to say how much value, a 10 versus a 9 versus an 8 really adds to, say, a 1 of 1, because like you said earlier, it's a 1 of 1. Like how much more can you increase the value? It gets to a point where you're just throwing money into a card that might have like kind of a fixed price, or it's just at a point where it comes down to your buyer. What is he willing to pay? Does he care if it's a PSA 10? Does he just want it because it's a 1 of 1?
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of factors. I don't think. Yeah, I wouldn't rush to grade 1 of 1s. Like if you want to protect it, if you want to keep it in your PC, that's one thing. Maybe get it graded for that. If you want to get it graded just to flip, I would maybe save the money and put it out there first, see what offers you can get. I would think you could probably get the same amount as slabbed or pretty close to it. I don't think the slabbing adds a ton of value.
And Seth,
on a 1 of 1.
Seth, with Elevator, he says, I've sold a lot of base foils and PSA from 75 to 125 graded PSA 10. I tend to grade low-end stuff. I even have graded paper from N24 and Alpha. Is there anything too low that you wouldn't grade, Seth? Do you think there's value in a paper non-featured hero graded 10?
Absolutely. And here's why. Then I want to hear from Eric, because Eric actually, he grades a lot too. I know he has experience doing this. I don't want to act like I'm the only one up here that knows about this. Yes, because some people want to spend $50 to $75, right? So not everyone has $300 to pay for a card. I mean, that's really, we're talking about, people have to plan for that. That's kind of a luxury item. But someone, if they want a graded 10 and they got $60, they can do that, and they'll be happy to have a lower end battle foil, one that you might look at, man, this is $2. Then it becomes $50 to $60, or maybe even $75. Yes. So yes.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, I agree. I think it depends also on the hero, on the athlete. I feel like if you take a low end battle foil of a maybe less popular player, let's say maybe like Zephyr, somebody like that, Force Field, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of interest. But if you're doing Victory, CC, PB, Maverick, and you just take like an ice battle foil and you slab it up and you get a 10, you're gonna get 3 to 4x your money on that. I'm seeing some pretty big increases on some of the battle arena cards that I've graded as well. So that 2 to 2.5 times raw price, I think what Seth said is spot on. With some of the more rare cards, not $1,000 raw cards, I wouldn't grade that. There's not really a whole lot of reason to, but like I bought an Ajax orange for $150 raw. I got a PSA 10. It sold for $350. So those are the kind of price ranges I'm seeing. I did a bunch of Victory, just regular battle foils. Ice, fire, steel.
And Eric, on that, how much did you pay for the grading on the card you bought for 50, sold for 350? How much did you pay in grading?
21.
Okay.
21.
Sorry, I just wanted everybody to know.
Yeah. The Victory ice yeah, exactly. Quick, right?
No one.
So
That's
yeah,
nice.
the Victories are selling for like $75 in a PSA 10. I mean, you can get a lot of those cards for less than $5.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So being the guy who doesn't know much about grading, hearing from you guys and hearing from the community, it always seemed to me that if you grade something and it's like a PSA 8, you're probably not increasing the value. That's just where you would like your card to be, right? So 8 or above, maybe 9, that increases it 10, 20%. And like you're saying, Eric, if it's a 10, it could be up to 200% increase. That's just generally from what I'm hearing. I could be off on that stuff. I do know when we had Jammer Kelly on, it didn't seem like we were giving him 2 times on some of those evaluations. But I've had some PSA 10s in my single show, not knowing that, and they've sold probably pretty cheap because I don't think I even promoted them as PSA 10. So I don't, not really sure what I'm looking at here and there. But I do see the value, not for me at the moment, but someday, and I'll probably go through SubHub when that happens as well.
Are we turning cursive Anthony right now? Is he coming to the dark side? The last thing I'll say about grading is that I also think it's just fun. Like, I like going through the cards and looking at them and trying to determine which ones I think are worthy of sending that could get a 10. I like the wait and the suspense and what the grades are going to be. I like the reveal. And also, I do make some grading content videos for my YouTube channel, and I get to create something that's fun too and share with the community. So it's not just about adding value for me. I enjoy the whole process of it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like the surprise and the mystery around grading too. I like, once the excitement of, once I get it packed up and sent off, it's like, ooh, now the clock, clock starts running now.
Yeah.
For
Tex
20 days or 30 days. Or whatever it is.
3 to 4 times a week about, let me check to see if they've actually given him his results yet.
One quick ask. I did see wrestling had a Mainly Break logo. Is that a family member, Seth?
Yes, my brother. That's King Coda. He doesn't know how to change his YouTube screen name. So we subbed together many times.
All right. But I think Tex, that's going to do it. Like right now, let's switch over to the mall rat, which is I don't have cursive stuck in here, but as you can see, we'll talk about that viral video in a second. But there's Eric and the Curacao Kid and Seth's reindeer hanging out at the mall with Anthony.
That's very similar to the mall that I was in. 2-story malls are where it's at.
Really, there were reindeer eating in your restaurant, in your mall. Really?
Yes. Santa was still making appearances because it's Ohio and it still feels like winter and Christmas out here. A lot of the neighbors still have their Christmas stuff up. I can't imagine people are taking their Christmas lights off in negative 4-degree weather. But yeah, so the mall was an amazing show. I was a little worried about lighting. They put me in dead center entrance of the mall, in the middle of the mall, next to the main guy's booth, and it was under a skylight. So I had this like light shining down. It felt very angelic, but kind of washed out. Some of the stuff we were doing. But it was really cool. It was a really cool opportunity. And one of the biggest takeaways that I got from the break, which was the biggest break I've ever done, was I had so many people coming up to my booth like, oh, this is the first time seeing, this product in the wild, having someone have a booth in it. I've been collecting it since alpha. I have a great collection. Let me bring up some cards on my phone. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what's your name on Discord? Maybe we'll reach out. We can follow each other. And like, I don't know what Discord is. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you're in the Facebook groups, and maybe we can connect on Facebook. And or I'm not on Facebook either. And so I believe Jeff French, the creator of Boba, has said before in the Discord that the amount of people that aren't in the Discord that are submitting for some of these raffles that we're doing, or signing up for some of the MSRP product that's out there is, I don't know, in the hundreds of thousands, or at least 100,000 compared to the above 1,000 that's in the Discord. I would say almost a dozen people came up, and out of those dozen people, there were 2 that were on the Discord. And so it says to that how true that fact is there's so many people in the community that we don't talk to, that we don't communicate with through the channels that are there already. It takes you to have a booth in a mall to get those people to come out. And so it's pretty cool. I was able to buy some lots, sell some cards, sell some packs. Obviously the break was a big one. And it was a 6.5 hour show. And I know you guys can kind of give me a hard time about it. I had to stand up for about 30 minutes in the show because my back was killing me. Mainly because I was shoveling some snow the day before and I was a little sore. So that's my excuse, not a wimp. But yeah, it was a fun time. The instant feedback I got from not only the community, but the vendors that were next to me, the gentleman next to me was Strictly Sports, had one of the busiest booths in it. And he just kept asking me questions the entire weekend, where we ended up splitting the loose packs I had. And I felt bad because he got no hits and I pulled a bonus play and a Coliseum from the packs that we split. Ooh. I did give him the opportunity to pick his pack, so he just picked the wrong ones. But yeah, the feedback was great. Even the organizer said, "Hey, can't wait to have you back. We would love you at a Boba presence at every one of our shows." So I definitely forwarded that information to Frenchie. And I know there's some community members that could possibly show up at some of the other shows, because I think this card show is one of the smaller ones that they do. They have ones that go all the way to West Virginia to Pennsylvania, Ohio, that have 250 to 300 plus booths. So I think it was a good connection, and it was a good experience. And shout out my wife, Lady Cursive. I would have been a hot mess without her, not only helping me with the break, organizing, and then dealing with the foot traffic while I was in the middle of the stream.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I up in Syracuse, for some reason, we don't get a lot of card shows up here. I don't know why. We have seemingly a lot of collectors, but not a lot of card shows, and I wish we had more. But oh well.
There was a big streamer or breaker that just ripped a jumbo box that I know a lot of us went and commented on. I wasn't aware. I looked at his channel that he's in Ohio. He's over by Columbus. So I know that he was promoting a card show on social media. I was like, man, that's not too far. You rip the jumbo. I believe that's you can get old Cursive down there, and go get old Cursive down there and hanging out with you, and we can do some boba together.
That's a great idea, Anthony. I love that you were growing the brand there, and it was successful. I'm so happy for you. I mean, kudos for doing that for 6.5 hours, bro. Whew. That's
I didn't know when you sign up for these things that you have to be there from the start of the show and be there to the end. So I was there from 11 to 8 each day, and then obviously you're there a little before and a little after to set up. So I didn't know what I signed myself up for. I probably won't do one next weekend, but possibly in the future. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. It was a good time. It was fun. But I had to give kudos to the guys who were out there doing it, ones that have other jobs and this is their hobby, and they're out there at malls traveling, every other weekend and putting the grind in for something that they love.
And you said it was a pretty good size show. It was
250 tables. It was 250 tables.
Oh my
God. It was more sports centered, so all the sports were in the center of the mall, and then the TCGs were kind of pushed out to the end, which was kind of nice for me in promoting boba. Is we were really speaking to the other sports collectors there, which was really nice. Which again, just thankful and grateful to the organizer to put me kind of in a prime spot like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool. And you'll have to keep us posted on when you're going to do another one.
Yeah, we so the card company or card LCS that's in our area there was someone there selling blasters, and it was funny because
really?
a few people had bought blasters, immediately ripped those packs and walked over to my booth and said, "Hey, did I get any hits? What is this?" And I actually bought a hit live during the stream. I think about an 11-year-old kid pulled a Hex Coliseum Cicada, and
Really?
yeah, made him an offer live on air during our stream. He was super excited about it. He made some money over what he paid, and it worked out.
So he did take the offer.
He did take the offer. He did counter $5 more than I offered initially, and I wasn't going to hesitate over $5. Not that type of person. We pull the trigger. We don't.
Hey, Anthony, question about blasters. Do you think for a situation like that, just because the blasters are a great entryway for people, it's just a low barrier, low cost way to get into Boba, could you create maybe a tournament or a game at an event like that using blasters and not double megas?
I think so. I've been pretty big in the community saying, hey, like that beginner tournament should be 30 heroes, right? It should be still 10 dogs with 20 plays. And we've seen the SIL tournaments at some of the SCGs reflect that they're smaller deck sizes based on even with double megas. So I think there is a variation to play with that, especially if you're going into like rookie mode, something to that effect. Yeah, I definitely think so. We had a guy come, and I actually sold him 2 starter decks, similar to what I sell in my Whatnot store. I sell starter decks that are 135 spec, and they're only 30 heroes. They're, I think, 20 plays, 10 dogs. And I was talking in one of the other shows that we did that the play mats that we gave him, I thought were the paper ones from the BTK boxes. It actually was the cardboard kind of fold-up ones from the National Starter. So I'm a little sad about that. Those weren't the ones I intended to give him. But he was great. He came back 2 days and bought some starter decks, and I think he's more excited about the game than his kids were. I think we'll see. I think I seen him in the Discord the next day, kind of giving my wife a shout out. So
very cool. Cursive, we all love that you're spreading the gospel of Boba across the Midwest for us there.
Evangelize.
Yeah, preach.
Well done.
All right, Seth, you were kind of you had a little viral moment this week.
Would you
like to tell us about that?
I'd be happy to tell you. So the beginning of the year, so I just want to say all thing around Instagram is all Miss Mainly Aaron. So I just show up and I do what she tells me to do. Someone had sent me a message. And I'm like, I didn't even know how to respond to it. Anyway, we did this video. I don't know if we were able to get to show you. And it was just me. It was like a plow going by. Someone got covered in snow. It was AI. I want to share. It was an AI video. I just kind of popped up and I'm like, Seth Mainely Breaks. And the next day we're watching and I'm like, babe, like 4,000 people watched this video. I'm like, that's crazy. Because normally that most we ever got was like 1,000, which I thought was a lot for just me just starting to create these reels. Anyway, over the course of the next 24 hours, over 68,000 people had seen the video. And I went back and I'm like trying to figure out, I'm like, why don't people care about this one? So apparently,
let's find out.
Let's find out. Yes.
All right. Hold on a second. See, Seth, it's that easy. I'm kidding.
I'm Seth. Mainely Breaks. Gripping Bo Jackson Battle Arena. Join us.
It's very funny.
So the first thing, thank you. The first thing that comes out, Miss Mainly is like, maybe we should get you some acting lessons because I think you overact a little bit. I'm like,
I think you were great.
Thanks. So it was this really fun moment, and apparently it did well with the initial part was organic, and then from what I've read and I did some research, it was tested in various markets based on the style of humor. And it did kind of well. And, pat on the back, I went and I looked at all the Bo Jackson Battle Arena related reels. And was the highest view one outside of one that also was a part of Bo Jackson Battle Arena. And speaking of, who's doing the Bo Jackson Better on Instagram? Can your boy get some love? Can you give me a like? Can you give me a follow? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a little something.
Come on.
I'm like someone like, did I do it okay, Dad? You know, and it was so we have our formula. I just I'll try to do some funny ones once or twice a week going forward.
Well, we gotta reach out to the PR department at Boba and get you some love.
Give me some love, baby.
And so, Seth, I have the two images you gave me, the one about men and women and then the other demo. Which one did you want me to pull up first?
Whichever, men and women's first. So what is this? This is, I love the fact that this is going to grow. I think this is a really good indication that more people outside of men obviously are seeing it. I think that's great. We want more women involved in Bo Jackson Battle Arena. And my last show that I had, my top 2 purchases of my last live stream on Whatnot, I both got through Instagram. So that just shows me that this works as a part of a way to spread the brand. And the second one was, so generally speaking, people around my age are the target audience, right? But what we found, if you show it, it's Slappy.
Oh, sorry. It's all right. Sometimes I watch the show and I forget, like, hey, I'm actually working.
So if you look at the numbers, like, you know, we know 45 to 54 and 35 to 44. That's generally who's buying boba. But who was watching the video? Number one, 25 through 34, not far behind is 18 through 24.
Wow.
So that I think that's a good way to grow the brand too. So we're getting eyes that are outside of who we usually promote to and who we know is buying the product. I mean, I don't know how many are going to all of a sudden get into boba, but it's a start, right?
It's a text that.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Text that 0.7% 65 plus. I mean, we know that number's higher than 0.7%. I mean, you just take Brody and his friends. I mean, that's at least 20%. No, but
right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious to see what the 65 plus is. It's greater than 0.7%, but man, that is amazing. 77%, 34 and under.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Yeah.
So one thing I'll mention, the women in the community has exploded recently. I know Seth and Eric probably can attest to that in our streams. The amount of women that are in streams, that are, you know, purchasing spots. I think Bazooka even had a new female member being one of their mods the other day. And so it's super cool to see. I know my wife's excited about it. And so more women just kind of offsetting kind of, you know, probably majority of TCGs go back to Las Vegas, where the sealed winner was a female competitor that came from Magic. And she just said, hey, Magic's not the place for women typically. But she really loved boba, and hopefully she's still on the boba team and looking at playing in boba tournaments. But I think it's a great place. And I think the team does a really good job making sure that everybody feels like they have a home here.
Yeah, we even have Kissa G. She's a breaker. She breaks a lot of boba. She's been great for the community. She's fairly new to us since Griffey, and she's wonderful. Yeah, it's wonderful having these women get involved and stuff. It really helps diversify the product.
The last thing I want to mention about the whole thing is, speaking of women, is the reality is this is all Erin, Miss Mainly. Like she's kind of positioned it where she was following. She's like, I followed. She was very strategic about who she was following and how she did it. I mean, she does all the recording, the editing. I just show up. So this wouldn't have happened without her doing it. It's just me being an idiot.
Seth, I noticed that when I'm like, if Seth is the star of this, how much is he actually responsible for it? I'm like, I know the person behind the camera is the true genius. So I was already giving Miss Mainly all the credit in the world.
Well done.
Shout out the wives, for sure, right? Shout out the wives for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, I think that about covers it for this week. This was an awesome show.
You forgot to thank our sponsor, which is Pat's Blue Ribbon. Don't you want to mention that?
PBR me.
Yeah, we need to get a better beer and sponsor. Let me know where to send the sign.
What do you? Yeah, Eric, I didn't know you were a distributor. We should talk.
Yeah.
Eric, I love the beanie as well. Yes, shout out to Quick. I'm a man.
Yeah, shout out to Quick. Eric, I love the beanie as well. Yeah. Eric, I love the beanie as well. Yeah. Yeah. Eric, I love the beanie as well. Yeah. Yeah. Eric, I love the beanie as well. Yeah. Yeah. Eric, I love the beanie as well. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Quick. I'm a man. Represent.
Very nice.
Quick doing it.
Yep.
And-
One of our guys who's constantly in the chat while we stream live. We love Quick as a new up and coming member. Great beanie there. I think Miss Lady Cursive has one in the mail as well.
So for those that don't know,
awesome.
Quick, real quick about Quick, we graduated high school together. So he found us through my Facebook. And
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's
wait,
how
graduated
Oh,
high
you're
school
almost 80
together?
years old too, Eric? Or Seth?
Yeah, he was in we went to the same high school. I've known Quick. Used to go over his house when we were like 10 years old and trade baseball cards.
That's amazing.
You guys need to do a battle arena tournament at the reunion, high school reunion there.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, there you go.
And you know who can sponsor that tournament?
Got boba cards? Don't guess the price.
Perfect.
Look up their value now at radishpriceguide.com.
Hey, and real quick, actually, before we go, you know what we should do is we should look. I do want to look because it's been last week. You guys did a great job that interview with you did that great interview with Aaron who ripped the Kid Super Auto. But let's go ahead. I want to look at sealed content real quick to see where it is. Of course, that double mega price product's really starting to dry up now. And so we're watching that price go up. So let's take a look today. We're broadcasting. This is Good Morning Bo, and it's January 23rd being broadcast live. And the last sale, unsurprisingly, today, let's see, we've had 2 SKUs sell today. There was a Griffey double mega case that sold today, $11.75 for that case. And then the Alpha Update Blaster Box is that we ended up, Alpha Update Blaster Box, that also sold today for $91, which, let's see, that's an update. Okay. And then the Griffey Blaster Box sold yesterday for $57. You get those in Dick's for about $39.99. So that's
Dick's
almost
Sporting
50%.
Goods.
Dick's Sporting Goods. But the Griffey double mega box, this goes to show how much product is drying up because there's no sales today. It's 2 weeks ago, there was always a sale by 10 o'clock Eastern. I'm not sure in terms of UTC, what time zone we're going for, but by 10 a.m., there was always a sale on double mega. There's not so much anymore. The other thing is the price, $134.99. We've seen a couple spike up recently. But you look at that 90 and 30-day average. So right now, the 30-day average hasn't crossed over the 90-day. 90-day is 124, 30-day is 121. And so obviously with the $135 price, let's see that 30-day average jump above the 90-day. It's going to get there. And then since our last show, we also saw a Griffey Hobby Box. It went for $675. I have to say, Tex, is that the I'm surprised, like the breakers. We've had this conversation with them, like, where did they see the prices? And I saw one person post where somebody was asking what the Hobby Box price was for Griffey. And a breaker said something like the 500 to 600 range. And I'm like, this was a few days ago. I'm like, what crack are they smoking? I'm like, there's no 500 left in this. It's like these hobby boxes are 600 plus. The other thing is I'm going to make fun of Soothing because I asked him this week where he thought it goes before Tecmo. I think he said 750. And I was remarking to someone recently, 750 by the end of the week, maybe. I don't think it'll go that quick. But you know, the question is, Tex, and I know we got to wrap it up, but like real quick, where do people see hobby boxes? Because I want to put people on records. I think it's in the 900 to 999 range. I actually don't think we cross 1,000 because of psychological reasons. It won't go there with the other collections, but I think because of scarcity and demand and the available product, you will see it in the $900 range. That's where I'm staking out.
I agree with that. Just quickly, I think if Tecmo wasn't coming out as relatively soon as it is, I think it would cross $1,000.
April.
What's that?
April.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's coming out fairly soon.
Okay.
You know, a couple months away. It's almost February. You know, we're 2 months away. I think if that wasn't coming and we had to wait till summer for a release, I think the hobbies would cross 1,000. But with Tecmo coming in about 2 months, I think it'll stay in that. Yeah, that probably it should definitely cross 900, but I think it'll stay around $900.
Anthony,
so after our last show, I immediately did my inventory and realized I was short on hobby boxes to get to Tecmo. So I put a post on Facebook and the Discord, said, "Hey, I'm buying hobby at 600." Got a few people that reached out. Immediately bought 7 to make sure my inventory where it needed to be. And that was at 6. and I think that was a good deal because they were already selling on eBay for about $635 before taxes and shipping. So I think they're already at that $650 range. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't think we're at least maybe another 2-3 weeks before they crack 700.
Where do you see it topping off at?
It depends. If we're looking at it right before Tecmo releases,
any point before Tecmo, where does it top?
I think it gets in the 8s. I think we see it in the 8s, which is probably the highest we've seen a hobby go before the next set.
Wow.
Do you think we see a big dip in price, like right before Tecmo is released, with people, maybe saving their money and getting ready to jump into Tecmo? Do you think we see a drop in price?
I don't think so, because I think Tecmo's going to be hard to get, and I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, Tecmo did amazing. All right, Eric, where are hobbies going to top out before?
Wax will stay strong. It'll keep going up. I think 850, 900. We'll see. I agree. I don't think we'll see 1,000. I think it'll be Alpha Update hobbies were in the 800s. I want to say right before Griffey came out. I do think singles will dip a little bit when Tecmo comes, but I think the wax, sealed wax, is going to remain strong on this just because of the limited print run and availability of it. I think the Griffey Super Auto being pulled does hurt a little bit, where if that was still live, we might see it creep closer towards 1,000. And I think Alpha Update with the Bo Super Auto still being live, that's definitely helped keep those prices super high. But yeah, I think 800, close to 900 is where we'll kind of see it top out at.
All right, and Seth.
Yeah, I'm close to you guys, but I'm a little bit. I think we do eclipse 1,000. I don't know if it sustains, and I think depending on, because last time we saw when product dried up, it was almost whatever you want to ask within reason was going to be bought. So if we don't see many hobbies available and someone has a sale around $1,000, you'll see that happen. And I'm not sure how long that lasts, but it'll happen.
Hey, Seth, these aren't encased in green battle foil, so you don't have to mark the price up. What were you gonna say?
Speaking of that, Seth, we have to talk off air. I found something you're selling.
I knew you were going to see it. Well, you still need that.
Okay. I sure did.
All right.
I need that.
It's
all right. So Tex, I know we got to do it, but just to wrap up on the sealed price, we'll go since last week, even though you guys didn't cover it, because this is important to cover. We also have the OKC, which people started receiving those. So the alt art box, the last sale was $565, and that was 2 days ago. And then the regular box was $425. So those are important numbers. Remember, there are limited edition boxes for the Super Bowl champion, the World Series champion, for the NBA champion, not for the NHL. But those are the three that we have so far. And so they come out obviously every so many months. So that's an important price to watch. Again, there were 850 or was it 12? No, there was like 1,200 of the world champion LA Dodger 2025 boxes. It was very hard. People thought they were botted. They weren't botted. There were over 100,000 people trying to get that. I've heard from Frenchie that they're already working on the LA Champion Box 2026 edition. Since they added King Tuck, they just went ahead and added, they started creating the world champion boxes for the LA Dodgers already. And then Tex, last thing to get to, and I feel I needed to bring this up. We got to talk about this missing card, is that this is a community member who ended up, their card was lost from grading to their house. Last it was seen was inside of a FedEx facility. So this card is being missed. This is actually Papa Sean 43. If folks comment in here, if you see this listed on eBay, in Facebook, in any group, this is a very unique card, right? This is the kid. Right. This is a Hex Auto 7 of 10. So we know which card he had. So if you see this card, comment in the video, and we will make sure to reach out to the community member who desperately wants this card back.
And to be clear, this was coming back from the grader, correct?
I believe so. It was coming back
from the grader to him.
Yeah.
Well, and just for more clarification, this is Sander MD for everyone that's been on breaks.
Oh, okay.
So you know who that is.
Yes. Yeah, he's a heavy hitter in the breaking community.
He's a great guy, and no one deserves to get their card
top notch
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awful. Hopefully it just fell off a rack or something in the FedEx facility, and they'll find it and get
But
it delivered to them. But
isn't this complaint that happened? I can't remember if it was B-Dub who it was. Doesn't PSA put something on the package so they know it's coming from PSA? Don't they have something on the exterior?
No, it's just FedEx box.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, if you work at a FedEx long enough, I'm sure you can.
Yes.
I'm sure there's codes and different things on the packages that you know where it's coming from, or have a rough idea what it is. Anyway, we didn't talk about jumbos though. And I've never seen a jumbo in the wild for Griffey.
Well, did you see
I've
that
never
sale?
heard about them being in the wild.
Did
one sell for 3,000? Is that what
32.50?
Did I hear that somebody
the last sale?
Is that what it was? 32.50. Where are people getting jumbos? Where'd they all go?
From
hobby stores. I believe hobby stores got most of them, didn't they?
Really? I dealt with 2 hobby stores. They didn't get any that I know of.
There we go. 3,325.
And do we know Star City had jumbos and everything with Alpha?
Yeah.
But did Star City didn't do anything with Griffey, did they, as far as we know?
Not yet. Yeah.
So we think they're still sitting on a bunch of inventory?
No, I think
just
they
haven't sold
gotten
it
yet. I think they haven't gotten it yet. I think that's what it is. Star City hasn't received it yet. I don't believe there was an issue. Remember the issue with the factory? I think their allotment is probably still on its way.
Okay. So these are where jumbos are.
Anyone that's ripping their OKC boxes and loves the heroes but doesn't know what to do with their dogs or plays, please sell them to me. I'm buying all plays from the OKC boxes.
I'll sell you mine, Anthony.
Thank you.
Oh, did we think the pricing on the OKC boxes is kind of low? The secondary market pricing?
For now, yeah. I do.
Yeah, I thought that was low on those boxes, especially the what is that? What are the alt art? 5? Yeah, I thought we didn't have a sale higher than that. I thought I saw somebody selling one for 700 maybe that I thought sold, but I guess it didn't.
Well, it looks like there's a sale for 560 and a sale for 565. Is that what we have for the alt art? For the regular one, it looks like 410 and then 425 or 435.
What was retail on those? That's not much above retail, was it?
Yeah, I think retail. I think I paid
retail
245 for the alt. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, I thought it was maybe closer to 3, but
that gap will widen now. So I think the world championship box is. I mean, that's fair, but the alt art, I see that going up pretty significantly.
Slappy, do you have any of the other championship boxes on there that you can pull up quick? I'm wondering, do we think that the prices are low on these relatively compared to the print run and the exclusivity of these?
Here's the regular LA World Champion box. That's $675 for just the regular, and then the Philly regular World Champion box. Now again, this was a while ago. $339 on August 12th. And of course, Philly's never going to have another World Champion box while we're alive, so that's probably going to go up in value. They won't see another one of those. But to your point, Tex, here's the LA World Champion alt art box. That was $700, and that goes back to August. And then let's see, that's all I have right there for that. Sorry, Seth, you were going to say.
No, I just was a quick mention about the Philly boxes. I saw a lot of people getting to sell because they saw the popularity of the the LA Dodgers box, and they're just available. It's just there are a lot of sellers with those right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Those just seem undervalued to me. I think down the road, those are gonna find a nice niche in the boba community. I think people sitting on those are going to be pleasantly surprised in maybe a year or two when more people come into the hobby and realize that these boxes are out there and they've done these championship series. each year.
It's an easy way to get foil dogs. Shout out the team real quick. SCG Milwaukee is going to be the first non-national tournament for Apex Madness. So if you guys are wanting to play Apex Madness, SCG Milwaukee will be there. So I believe we're going to be taking the kids and let my 6 and 7-year-old flip over cards for Madness. They get their dad's anger issues, so they may flip over a table too if they don't win. Watch out for the little ones; they're kind of reckless. But that is a great opportunity to play Madness without an national entry card. So.
And that's is that February 21st?
I believe so.
I remember correctly.
Yeah, that weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, Slappy, what do you think? I think it's time to call it a day. Let's check in with each of these guys quick. Seth, when will you be breaking again?
We are live Sunday breaking. I think I might push it back to 6:30. See how we do there. And yeah, go from there. Also, single show coming up soon. Going to be BJam stuff. Look for that.
Now, and that's 6:30 Eastern.
Thank you for the clarification. Yes, Eastern time.
Eric, when will we see you again?
Tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern, single show. Had to miss last week. I was busy with the Curacao kid, but back regularly scheduled 9:30. Got some sweet looking cards too, so don't miss that show.
I was just gonna say, you got anything you'd like to preview?
Yeah, one sec.
Yeah.
So why?
Well, he's looking for that. What's that?
I wanted to talk about the alt art cards real quick. It's for people that haven't seen those. They're jaw-dropping gorgeous. So just when you see the alt art cards, shout out Spec and the art team. They did such a nice job on those cards this time around. I mean, every time around. Amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, they are very nice. A ton of foiling on those cards. They're very cool. While we're waiting for Eric to come back, Anthony, when are you breaking again?
Yeah, so I'm adjusting my schedule. We are going to go Monday afternoons, morning if you're on the West Coast. We have a Monday morning quarter break show that I'm going to be doing weekly. It is 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We're going to go over weekend hits and do some Monday rips. So we'll kind of review any hits for the first 15 minutes of the show of anything that's popped up on eBay or big cards that have kind of shown up in the Discord. Hopefully that's getting us ready and me ready for what's the price, Bow Edition, as well as just a quick power break, right? We're trying to do a shortened show that people can catch on their lunch break. So I think a hobby double mega power break every Monday, kind of mid-afternoon, to kind of get you back into the fold of boba should work out well. And everyone loves power breaks. I love power breaks. I'll just be on the other end, kind of hoping people get some massive cards.
Awesome. And you said it's going to be a West Coast morning show. What time exactly are you thinking?
So for the West Coast folks, it'll be 11 a.m.
Okay.
You know how we're doing a good morning bow here. We're going to follow that up with kind of a morning mid-afternoon show to kind of, trying to find a good little spot for me.
2:00 in the East.
Yes.
Perfect. And before I jump back to Eric, Seth, I wanted to give you a chance to, if you have one of B Jams's cards you'd like to highlight while we're seeing what Eric has, we can do that quick. If not, no big deal.
It's in route. The package is in route.
Oh, you don't even have them yet.
And I'll say this, we have multiple shows of product on the way. So get excited.
Wonderful. All right. Eric, what do you got for us? Let's see those previews.
Yeah, hard to pick, but I got a lot of higher powered. We'll be going like 175 gums.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm going to throw some slabs up. There's a Crushman Ice Auto in a 10.
Beauty.
I gotta get I don't have a Crushman in my collection, and I want one.
This is going to be the one to have. Got quite a few 160 brawls. There's Ellie, Burner, Giannis,
Creecho, love it.
Poppy, Cooper Flag on the highlight.
Oh, that's the alt art pose too.
Yeah.
That's the special. That's the limited pose.
That's the Coliseum.
Ooh, that's a big card right there.
We've got Brock on the slime. That's one of my favorites.
Love the slime
Glow
cards.
Rook. Destroy a mixtape. another gum camera, Cheryl Bomb.
Oh,
Rampage. There's a Fingers Fire 160 auto. So a lot of highlighted, a lot of
Oh,
that's some
reverse
heat.
blows.
Is that a 160 glow?
Yeah, BJ.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, 160 glow is still in very high demand right now. I'm in on that one just for funsies.
Yeah,
love it.
you
gotta log on, Anthony. You gotta be there.
Yeah, I know. Anthony, you better not be bidding against me on that other guy. Don't run me up. All right. Well, this has been Good Morning Bo for January 23rd. It's been a great show. Been brought to you by Radish Digital with a J. Thank you to my wonderful producer, Slappy White, getting ready to get snowed in Rhode Island this weekend. And hopefully everybody survives the storm. Hopefully it's easy for everybody. Cursive, you don't have anything to worry about. You're on the West Coast, but
I'm in Ohio, buddy. We're getting almost.
Oh, that's right. You're in Ohio. Why am I thinking you're on the? Well, you're talking about West Coast times.
Remember the whole mall? Remember the whole mall?
I know. Yeah. Oh, I need more coffee. Thanks, everybody.